I'm Freddie Williams II, artist of Batman Ninja Turtles, and you're watching Sequentially Yours.
Hey there, welcome to Sequentially Yours, initially mine. This is a show where we look at this week's number ones and tell you which ones you should keep on for a legacy and which one you should reboot immediately. Okay, so we have a couple of good things this week. Not a lot of great stuff, but everything's kind of serviceable, I guess would be the best way to put it. Well, not everything, but, well, we'll see, huh? Let's check it out. Oh, what do we got? Alright, we're going to start with America. Alright, so I'm not sure, this is from Overground Comics, I'm not sure whether they are actually trying to imply that there are other America books with the, two anarchy symbols in it, or not, or whether they're just creating a backstory for it, but in this number one, we are to assume that this character has been out superheroing for a long time, until recently has been invincible, and now is no longer invincible, lost her superpowers, but she still feels the need to superhero. It's not terrible, but it's got its problems. First of all, because it seems to rely so heavily on this backstory that was created, then I really don't have any context for it other than what I'm being told. And it doesn't do a good job of establishing what she was like as a superhero with superpowers. That being said, I like the idea that just because she's no longer invincible does not mean that she no longer has the skills that she learned, fighting skills, the timing, all of the other things that are necessary in a fight that don't necessarily rely on superpowers. It's an interesting idea, and I think it could work. But let's talk about the art for a second. First of all, let's look at this cover. I'm just going to put this right here. We have America dressed in tight pants that will not cover her whole butt, and a shirt that is tied together in the middle, and carrying a skull that says death, and apparently dressed like Paul Stanley, makeup-wise. Her arm may or may not have barbed wire on it. It's hard to tell because it's hard to tell where her arm is. She has an incredibly high collar that she does not actually have in there, and she's clearly wearing a flag. I don't want to say shirt, because it's not really a shirt. A small flag that has been made into sort of shirt form. Oh, I just noticed her shirt is being held together with barbed wire, which is not actually attached to the shirt. It's just kind of wrapped around her, and I guess the flag, she taped it to her boobs? I don't know. I didn't design this. I also didn't do the art on this, which is why she's in Escher Girl poses several times in this. Including, look at this page. This is a fun one. What is happening with her legs? Do you know? Can you tell me what is happening with her legs? Because I have no idea. What is that? Is her left leg broken? Also, she's wearing heels to a fight. Heels to a fight. Let me remind you that Alan Moore was making fun of that in the mid-1980s. 1984, yes? 4, 6, I can't remember when Watchmen came out now. I may be confused, but yeah. That was being made fun of in the mid-1980s, and now we're still doing this? You are kidding me, right? This is ridiculous. And, here's my favorite. Let's just sort of end this with, the shot of her wearing nothing but, it's not quite a thong, it's some sort of panties, and us looking at all of her bruises. That's pleasant. Thank you, America creators, Hughes and Pearson. What are your names? Written and colored by John Hughes, illustrated by Jason Pearson. Okay, yeah, you got... Well done, guys. That was not disturbing at all. And the thing is that there are things about America that I like. I like the general concept. I think they could do a lot of good stuff with it. But their need to try to be exploitative for no other reason than that they can, and presumably to try to get the attention of the audience that likes that the most, that makes this just completely worthless to me. So buy America. And no, I don't mean like buy America, I mean like goodbye. Just, I thought I'd clear that up. Context, Alright, we're moving on. She-Wolf. My memory was bad, because so far this is not looking as good or even as mediocre as I thought it was. Huh. Alright, She-Wolf is poorly sketched, both in terms of plot and art. The art seems slapdash and thrown together. I understand the style. It's just not my thing. I'll give you a sample page here, just so that you can kind of see what we're looking at here. The strange coloring, the weird way that items seem to work, the strange physics of it all, combined with the fact that it just moves and moves and moves without actually telling us anything. The problem is that it is so lightly sketched of a story that you end up filling in a lot of gaps, and then when you get to a point later on where one of those gaps would have to make sense in order for this to happen, you find that the things that you have filled in don't actually make sense. And that's because this was not really well plotted out as a book. At least for a number 1, spell number 1, shapeshifting. At least for a number 1, this doesn't really have the... It doesn't have the base that you need in order to tell an appropriate story on it. A number 1 needs to give us something that we can stand on. Which is, again, why I usually recommend that stories, unless they are miniseries, start with a complete story in your first issue, just so that you have a full idea of how a character works in a situation. Because otherwise, there's no speculation as to how they're going to react or what's going to happen. You can't sit there and guess, because the answer could literally be anything. Some of the art is not bad, in the sense that some of it seems to be drawing from older cave and skin painting styles. That being said, there's not enough of it to make it work, and the rest of it just looks odd and out of place. While I don't think that She-Wolf is a terrible book, I will admit it did not get me hooked. It did not get my attention. It feels lazy, and I don't think that it actually is. I think that a lot of work was put into this, especially in the coloring. I'm not going to lie about that, but it feels lazy because it doesn't seem like too much attention was paid to actually getting this story told. It seemed like they just wanted to get it out in a book. So, that's She-Wolf. Next. Kurt Sutter's Lucas Stand. Alright. This also has a lot of elements of laziness to it. It's not nearly as bad. We're getting better each time, honestly. The concept, again, is really, really good. Lucas Stand, the character, is a soldier who has returned from war. He clearly has some sort of PTSD. He has anger control problems. He just got fired. He decides to kill himself, and after he does, another military person shows up and makes him an offer. And then things start to... they start to stop making sense, honestly. They stop making sense at that point. They start to stop making sense. They stop making sense at that point. Basically, he has an option to take this one guy's deal, but the guy won't explain the deal to him. And then this demon shows up at his door, dressed like his superintendent, or maybe his landlord, or both. Who knows? And Lucas is, offered a chance to continue to live even though he's dead. And then he gets put in the body of... Alright, here's where it gets interesting again. Basically, it seems to be that the idea here is that there are demons that walk among us. People who die, who exhibit certain qualities, are given the option to essentially be thrown into bodies in the past to fight these demons. Possibly the future, I don't know, but they're thrown into other bodies in other time periods to fight these demons. Some people know about this, some people don't. They are the only ones who can see the demons for what they truly are. And Lucas is sort of thrown into this and expected to do stuff even though he was never given sort of a briefing, which, considering it's a military guy who saw him, you'd think that briefings would be a thing that they would do, but apparently not. Apparently briefings are for the weak, I guess. I don't know. But... And they were on a time limit, even though time travel's a thing? Here's where it starts to get lazy. First of all, like I said, we aren't given any sort of narration or explanation or anything about what is going on. We have to pick up a lot of it from context clues, which is fine. I don't mind picking up stuff from context clues, except when you have the character continually reminding you that he doesn't know what's going on. And that's the problem. If the character is figuring things out at the same time we are, great, that's fine. You don't have to have like an information dump in order to make that happen. But you can't then have the character continually saying, I don't know what's going on, because then that reminds the reader that the character doesn't know what's going on. And it reminds the reader that they don't know what's going on, and that is frustrating. Moreover, he got sent back in time. Guess where he got sent back? World War II! Because why not? What other time period could he possibly been sent to? I mean, just anything to shove a swastika into a comic book, right, guys? Seriously, what? I don't even understand. I understand the obsession. It's an easy story place to go. You want to show how evil somebody is, just connect them with Nazis, and done. We're done for the day, that's it. They are clearly evil. That being said, though, it is lazy storytelling. And what it tells me is that Lucas' stand is not, especially since it is a miniseries, one of 6, what it's telling me is that Lucas' stand is not going to challenge me as a reader. It's not going to ask any hard questions. What it's going to do is continue throwing this guy around, and maybe eventually explain to him what's going on so that maybe I might know. By the end of it, I still don't know what's going on, why the other dude showed up. I can make some educated guesses, but honestly, it's not enough that I care. That, and also Lucas is not a particularly likable character, and I want to like him because he's been through so much, but I just don't. Ugh. Next. Life and Death of Sorcery, 100 Days in the Future, Part 1. Life and Death of Sorcery. This is an interesting art style, I will grant it. It looks kind of like Jamie McKelvey, only not as refined. And I'm okay with that. However, first of all, the prologue starts in 1895. But the characters are dressed like... The characters are dressed like LARPers from 1995. That's really... tell me, do these people look like they're in 1895 to you? Or does that look like they got something in Hot Topic? And, maybe Macy's for the suit. I mean, seriously, they made no attempt to make this look like the time period that they are supposedly in. So why even bother setting it in a past time period? Oh, so that you could send people into the future. Okay, great. So we're sending people to 1995 where we meet up with the girl on the cover in yellow. I can't remember her name. She was that forgettable that I just can't remember her name. But we meet up with her and she is drastically unlikable. And they try to make her likable by having her rescue a kid from bullies once, but then she's mean to the kid, so it doesn't really work that well. But otherwise, she is just... She is mean to people. She is easily bored. She has sort of a bad life. But when I say bad life, I mean kind of typical teenage life, but it seems terrible to her. And we don't even get a chance to really see into her because she is so closed off even to us as readers. We don't get any look into her mind. All we get is this sort of miserable human being that I'm going to assume is our main character because we spent the most time with her. So I guess my comparison to Hot Topic is probably the most apropos because this is the kind of, that's where that person would probably shop in 1995 where this is supposed to take place. I really like the colors on it. I think the colors are good. And the art's not bad. But, oh, the story is so terrible. And the character is just so... I don't even know the word. Somebody do me a favor and go to it at the source, because I can't right now because I'm talking to you guys. Do me a favor, go to the source, look up unlikable and miserable, and just give me... Put some synonyms down in the bottom. And that's what this character is. I don't even want to think about it. Wow. I thought this was a mediocre week, but it turns out this is actually a pretty awful week. Ugh. I'm so glad we're getting more comics soon, because, wow. Do we only have one more? Oh, we only have one more. What was it? Please be something good. Please be something... It is! Action Man! Oh... Oh, Action Man, thank you. Thank you for coming out this week so that I don't feel like it was a wasted week entirely. Other than, the big ones. We didn't waste the entire week of number ones because there's Action Man. Oh, thank you, Action Man. Alright, so Action Man is actually it's actually a reboot, sort of a comic from the 1980s. Action Man was essentially the British answer to G.I. Joe toy-wise. So, of course, it also had tie-in comics and all of that. But, G.I. Joe was very American-based, so the British kind of wanted their own thing. And Action Man is what we ended up with. Instead of being part of a team like G.I. Joe was, he was... In fact, he may have actually preceded that and been part of the G.I. Joe toy line, where they had, previous to the cartoon, previous to the 80s. I don't know, I only cut bits and pieces of the history, and I apologize for that. I'll figure it out and put it down here. Okay, so, yeah. Action Man was actually really well done. I was impressed with kind of all of it. It's, the original Action Man dies at the beginning, and now we're following this new guy, and you get to see him in, action, and he does a great job with it. He's actually... hold on a second, I will be right back with you guys. I seem to be running out of space on the camera, and I'm going to need to get a new thing, so be right back, hold on. Hey everybody, I'm back. Alright, so as I was saying, Action Man. A British answer to G.I. Joe. And this character is actually really likable. I want to see him succeed. He realizes that he is not the original Action Man, that he has a lot of work to do, that he is not perfect, and that's partially because he's from a time period in comics that they don't expect perfection, unlike the original Action Man, but also because he's new and he's trying to get into the job, and I want to follow him along. The actual action sequence that we see in this, which involves saving hostages from a train and also keeping the train from being hit by another train coming the opposite direction full of oil, is really cool. And involves, at one point blowing something up next to the train to purposely derail it to get it out of the way of the other. It was really nifty. I was impressed with it. There are tigers. Why not? Tigers make everything better. But yes, we get to see a lot of how this character reacts to different people around him. We get to see his supporting cast and get an idea of who they are and how they contribute to his story. We get to see where he is going as a character and how he can improve, while also understanding what makes him worthy of being Action Man in the first place. He is essentially a legacy character here, but he's a legacy character that is picking up on a much bigger legacy than we, the reader in America, may know, and that a lot of readers, even in Britain, are probably going to know. So we have to buy into the legend of Action Man, and this comic does an excellent job of helping us buy into that. Road to Revolution is the storyline on this. I don't know what's going on with it, but I'm curious. I'd like to know what's going on. It seems really interesting, actually. I don't really know what else to say about it. The art on this, I don't really like the cover art, but the rest of the art is actually really well done. Great colors, beautiful scenery, excellent grasp of proportion, a good range of character body types and ethnicities without it being really over the top. I believe what's going on. I believe this character, he's good at playing dumb, which I like. Oh, Revolution, take a stand. I didn't even notice this very back page, but when it says Road to Revolution, apparently has Action Man and Transformers and maybe G.I. Joe in this, and possibly Rom? I'm not sure if that's the new Rom or not, but if this is what I think it is, this like giant crossover with all this stuff, this may in fact be awesome. Look at this. Look. Can you see? Yeah. Look at that. A 5-issue event written by Cullen Bunn. Okay, I buy Cullen. I'm good with Cullen Bunn. I like Cullen Bunn. September. Yeah, they did the Revolution R thing. Yeah, if IDW wants to pull together all of its characters into a into a big crossover event and kind of put them in the same universe and have Action Man in there, yes, please do that, and please give me more Action Man because this character is really compelling. He has a range of emotions that are exhibited within this book alone. He makes bad decisions sometimes, but that's okay because he seems to make them for the right reasons, and I'm fine with that. He's not perfect, but he is clearly a good guy, and I want to see that in Action Man. I want to see that in a lot of comics, and this isn't to say that there can't be room for anti-heroes, but this is still really good, and I think stuff where you just see good but flawed people is not making as much headway as it really should. Good but flawed people can be a compelling story, and I want to see more of it. I don't know what else to tell you. Read Action Man. It was the only thing worthwhile this entire week. While all the rest of the stuff had bits and pieces that I liked, honestly, yeah, most of it was just absolute crap. Just total crap. And then there was Action Man, which made my week that much better. So thank you, Action Man. Thank you, everybody involved. I can't see your names in here. I don't even know where the thing is because it literally starts in the back cover. Yeah. They wanted to fit in everything, so they just put everything in the back cover. So, yeah. Barber, Villanelli, Evanhouse, and Beauvais, whatever you guys did, thank you. Whatever your first names are, thank you. This was good. You made my week much, much better, and I appreciate it, so thank you very much. All right. So. What else do we got? Oh, yes. That's right. The oddly incongruous theme for the week. It was tough. It was tough finding something that connected all of these. Normally, it's pretty easy to stand out, but this one was not as easy. But then it kind of clicked on. It all kind of clicked, and you know what? The oddly incongruous theme for the week is New Beginnings. That's right. All of these characters are trying to find some way to deal with the thing that they are just jumping into, and strangely enough, this does not always happen in number ones. In fact, let's be honest, America very well could have just been her with superpowers and we never get to see her living that change. Or, Life, Death, and Sorcery could have just followed the Hot Topic people in the late 1800s and we're done. But no, we're given a chance to see people kind of find their feet, I guess would be the best way to put it, and I was happy with that. Ish. Alright, so I don't know if you're going to think that any of these are better than I did, but these opinions were initially mine. Take care.